So my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 115,600 US dollars. We got the pump last night, or rather in the past few hours. Of course, this also has to do with the positive news we received over the weekend that there might be a deal between China and the USA and no 100% tariffs. But as we know, we can never be sure how long what Trump is saying will actually last. But what can definitely be said is that this week will really decide everything. We have so much news, jam-packed. The whole week is loaded with big news, with even more updates, with quarterly earnings, etc. and so on. So this week will show us where we stand in the bull run and could possibly bring the decision. That's why you should definitely stay tuned until the end now. We're going to take a calm look at everything now. We'll take a look at the crypto markets, the forex markets, the stock markets, everything. Also all the news that's out there. And otherwise, I'd say before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, you can of course do it all on my partner exchange, WEEX. At the moment, you can get up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses there. Just register and complete KYC. And just like that, you've got your first bonuses. That way, you can basically test out the exchange and do it all for free. So just sign up using the link in the video description below. All right, let's get started. I'd say let's not waste any time. Bitcoin at 115,600 US dollars. We're still right on track. And that's even though we had zero volume in the market over the weekend. Honestly, the market was really like a ghost town, I have to say at this point. No volume, no real movements at all. Sure, it moved up a little gently, but that's not really the real deal. And now last night, we finally saw the first real pump upwards. We've broken through the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. We've broken through the 200 SMA, something I mentioned yesterday in the live stream. That's an important resistance, and now we've crossed it and are slowly entering the decisive phase. On the one hand, we're approaching the golden pocket at 117,000, but on the other hand, we're also getting close to the inefficiency plus the vectors up here at 121,000. US dollars are sitting, and as you can see, the sell zone has been there for quite a while now, in fact for over 2 weeks at this point, where we still expect that this will turn into an ABC correction to the downside. That means we're grabbing the liquidity now to pump upwards because we have some very bullish news. On the one hand, on Wednesday at 7 p.m. we have the Fed interest rate decision. It is still, or for the most part, expected that we will get an interest rate cut. That's great. Then at 7:30 p.m., not 8:30 p.m., don't forget, because of the time change, the press conference with Powell will be at 7:30 p.m. This is also an important event, actually even more important than the interest rate decision, because that's when it will matter. How does he see the overall market situation? We have CPI data that's rising, we have no market data at all on the labor market, which is so important to him, etc., and so on. Maybe there will be, or rather, there is still no agreement because there are meetings between Trump and China, or rather, that's only happening on Thursday. So all of that will also be factored in. That could turn out to be a 50-50 situation. And then on Thursday, right in the middle of the night, or rather Thursday morning, we also have the Bank of Japan's interest rate decision along with the accompanying statement. That will also be quite interesting now that there have been some political changes. Things are really going to hit hard there. And if everything goes well, we'll also get the gross domestic product figures on Thursday, and then on Friday, PCI data and employment numbers on Friday as well. So as you can see, there's a lot coming our way, and that's not even all of it. We also have, what else do we have here? Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta earnings on Wednesday. Apple and Amazon will follow on Thursday, and in total, 20% of S&P 500 companies will report their earnings this week. So this week is going to decide quite a bit here. And if everything goes according to plan, we'll get our short range up to here, up to 121,000 US dollars, in order to, let's say, initiate the big short. That would still be my model scenario. I would say at this point that would be the best case, simply for that reason. Now, slowly but surely, we're also seeing rising funding rates again. If we look at the heat map, it's been worked through. On the weekly view, let's quickly switch to the 3-day view just to take a look. Where there's a bit of short-term liquidity, we still have something around 117,000, but otherwise, the biggest chunk is currently between 109,000 and 106,000 US dollars. That means to the upside, there really isn't much left lying around. Either the market takes advantage of it now, if the numbers are completely bullish, so that up here on a monthly basis, the cluster towards 124, 125, if that happens, the B scenario would pretty much be off the table. As I said, theoretically, the B could also go up as high as 123. Let's just wait and see. At the moment, this here is my entire short area at this point. And otherwise, if the numbers, as I said, turn bearish in this area, then the next target would be somewhere, between $96,000 and $89,000. Let's wait and see what this week brings. It's definitely going to be very, very exciting. And then let's move on to the altcoins. How are things looking there? Ethereum has finally broken out. Just yesterday on the live stream, I said we need to get above this yellow line. We managed to do it with 3 or 4 hourly candles, but just look at the volume. There's zero volume in the market. That's not good after such a pump. But as I said, we still have a bit of room to move up. We can easily head towards 4,300 or 4,400 now. For me, the best case would still be the $5,000 mark because there's just so much liquidity up here that we really should have taken. That hasn't happened yet. Let's see if we have enough strength this week and above all, enough time to reach these price levels. At this point, let's move over to Solana. Solana is also pumping. It now seems increasingly likely that we're in our wave 3 here at this point. That would mean for us that we could rise up into the range between, let's say, 240 to 250 US dollars. So that's also bullish for now. But as I said, we have a lot of news this week and we really have to wait and see day by day. Let's move over to the traditional markets. Euro, Forex, nothing is happening at all at the moment. Maybe I'll keep an eye on that this week. On US dollar JPY, where we might either go short or go long depending on how the markets ultimately develop. But I'll talk a bit more about that in detail tomorrow. Gold is still in a sideways phase. I'm still hoping that we'll get an ABC correction here as well. That means ABC that we've now completed the first wave here, down to 4,000 US dollars. For the second B correction upwards, I'd be looking at the area around 4,230 to about $4,300. That would be perfect to then sustainably get into the range of 4,700 to 4,500 US dollars. And from there to open a new long position. The same goes for silver. Silver may have now found its bottom for the time being. I'm not going to go long here. Instead, I'll probably try to go short up here during the B move and then go long again down here on the C. Yes, going long at around $45 to $42. So what else do we have, right? We still need to look at the traditional markets. DAX didn't really do much last week. Sideways phase, not really much happening. Dow Jones, new all-time high. I suspect that the entire US stock market will open positively again in the afternoon, simply because of the news we have at the moment. In my opinion, this is going to be very, very interesting. Nasdaq, same story here. S&P 500, same story here. We definitely still have room to move up here. I've said it before, S&P 500, 7,100 to 7,300 is now my absolute maximum. Especially after this long consolidation, it's good that we're continuing to move upwards for now. And the volatility index is also back down in our support area for now. So there are already signs that we could definitely pump maybe until Wednesday, maybe until Thursday, depending, of course, on what Japan does as well, that this could be an extremely bullish week. But we really have to take it day by day here. If everything really is bullish, okay, then maybe we'll even see a new all-time high for Bitcoin or something like that. But we also have a lot of them. Earnings. Nvidia, I think, only reports next week. So we still have a bit of time, but Nvidia leads the market and things like that. But you know, if even Google and the like are already struggling a bit, that's really not a good sign. Last but not least, crypto stocks, Circle for example, were pumped up really hard again last week, up 10% in just one day. It's incredible how much volatility there was. The wave 2 is still definitely possible here, so the second wave, that this wave 2 just extended here and now we're seeing our pump to the upside. Let's see, well, everything is still within the realm of possibility. Would we have had a lower low? At this point, this scenario would still be $118, more likely. And I would also like to briefly show you D-Wave. So Quantum, the stock hit our buy zone perfectly last week and is now up 26%. So congratulations to everyone who got back in during the correction. 26% gained in just, I think it was 2 days. What I also wanted to quickly show you with Bitcoin before I forget it in a hurry. Asia session, very, very important at this point. That we mark it down because last week it worked really, really well at this point. We'll just draw in these 2 lines again here and add them like Asia session, first high, first low of the week. Just to quickly explain this to you again at this point, this is important because last week when we had exactly that, it happened. We first moved away here, saw the retest, and that's exactly what we want to see. That means this range here, including the daily open, will of course be crucial for us in the coming days, depending on how we behave within it. How we behave in it, exactly. If we fall below it, in my opinion, there are still quite a few vectors below. Let's just wait and see, but make sure to mark them down, and then we'll see what happens next. Alright, that's it from my side for now. I'd say we'll hear from each other again tomorrow with a detailed update video, and there will also be another live stream tomorrow. And I wish you a wonderful and successful day. Definitely check out BingX, the link is down below in the video description. Just sign up and claim your bonuses, and that's it from my side. Wishing you a nice, relaxing day. Until then, ciao ciao, and as always, stay crypto.